Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Now at 6, it's been 2 weeks since the state of Connecticut lost 2 heroes, and the Bristol community is still grieving.
I asked the community, simply, we needed you. We needed your thoughts and prayers, and you have gone above and beyond.
Bristol PD still feeling the love outpouring from locals.
It's going to take forever you're not going to ever get over the pain and the loss of these officers.
Health officials expressing concerns coming before the colder months, and parents already reporting shocking conditions in Connecticut children's hospitals.
In 4 hours, he was using his whole body to breathe.
Trying to buy a home? It might be harder than you think. Mortgage rates jumping to a rate not seen since the start of the century. We'll break down all the numbers for you.
And tonight, Mind on the Money, another chance to win big. The Powerball drawing with a jackpot now up to $700 million. Nutmeggers across the state flooding to pick up a ticket. All that and more coming up.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here in the news at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. 2 weeks ago this evening, 3 Bristol police officers were shot, 2 of them fatally.
And today, the city's mayor and police chief addressed the media on various topics, including fundraising and a push to hire more police officers. Fox 61's Tony Tersey joins us live from the Bristol Police Department with more from a press conference that was full of thank yous. Tony.
Hey, Jen, yeah, plenty of thank yous to go around, including to the community that has supported, both here in Bristol and throughout the state, that has supported these officers. And there was also a thanks to law enforcement agencies around the state from the city officials for filling shifts that they have over the last couple of weeks. And thankfully, there was some good news about that 3rd officer involved in this shooting. 2 Bristol cops shot to death in the line of duty will rightfully always be remembered. But today, the officer who delivered what's been called the miracle shot was also recognized.
Officer Iorato is a true hero.
Officer Alec Iorato, who was one of the 3 officers shot by Nicholas Brucher, killed the shooter. And today, the chief delivered some good news on Iorato.
So he's recovering, and I think we're going to see him back rather quickly. In fact, I'm probably going to have to be putting the brakes on him to make sure that he gets well.
Iorato was a special part of last week's funeral service for Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte and Sergeant Alex Hamzy.
He was honored with walking in the honor flag at the funeral on Friday, and he did it without his crutches.
The mayor says the memorial flourishing in front of the police department will likely remain for a couple of more weeks, and items from it will be saved to create elements for a new streetscape as part of the downtown revitalization.
We'll have benches that are made from some of this stuff. We will hopefully take some of the flowers and put it into the streetscape, and so we're trying to be thoughtful about that.
To this point, roughly $1 million has been raised to benefit the families of the victims, which includes Officer Iorato.
At this point, what I know, that there was nothing that they could do at that moment. They were completely ambushed.
As the investigation continues, both the mayor and the police chief say they are not at liberty to comment because other state agencies are currently in the process of putting everything together. Now, as for the new cops they're looking for here, Chief Gould said he plans to hire up to 20, with the focus on experienced cops who are presently working in other departments because it'll only take them 4 to 6 weeks to get them on the road here in Bristol. We're live in Bristol. Tony Tersey, Fox 61 News.
Thank you, Tony. The memorial outside of the Bristol Police Department really speaking to the pain the community is still feeling. The police cruiser covered in flowers with visitors still going well out of their way to visit the site and pay respects to Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte and Sergeant Alex Hamzy.
It's going to take forever you're not going to ever get over the pain and the loss of these officers.
So I'm here with my daughter, Aubrey. We needed to come out and just understand what the situation was. And as a parent, I wanted to make sure my daughter was fully aware of the sacrifice that police officers, firefighters, and community service people do every single day.
Police officers always help us every single day. There's not a way to hurt the police officers when they're just trying to do their job.
To learn more about how you can support the families of fallen officers, as well as surviving Officer Alec Iorato, visit our website, fox61.com.
And we have some breaking news tonight. We have learned that 2 University of New Haven graduate students were killed early this morning in a car crash. We're told 22-year-old Sai Narasimha Padamsetti and Pavani Gallipali died when the crash happened on Route 7 near Sheffield, Massachusetts. There were 4 other UNH students also in the car, we're told, that were injured and are now receiving medical care. Their conditions are unknown. Well, Hartford police are investigating after they say a teenager was shot and a second teen was injured yesterday evening. They say it was on Enfield Street shortly before 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday when they responded to a ShotSpotter activation. There, they found a 15-year-old shot in the ankle with non-life-threatening injuries, and that person was transported to St. Francis Hospital. 2 hours later, a 16-year-old showed up at Connecticut Children's with a hand injury.
Well, the man accused of shooting a New Haven police officer appeared in court this morning. Jose Claudio is facing a list of charges, included attempted murder. Earlier this month, Claudio was caught on dashcam video shooting at Officer Chad Curry, who was checking out a car crash. Officer Curry is recovering. Claudio's family now says that he was high on multiple drugs at the time. Moving on to a story we've been continuing to cover, and the seriousness of the children's respiratory virus known as RSV can't be understated.
Right now, hospital emergency rooms are slammed and pediatric ICU beds are just not readily available. Fox 61's Matt Caron brings us an inside look at the reality of this worsening situation. Matt.
Well, let's begin this story the same way that we started some of our other ones, and that is to say, do not panic. Most kids who get RSV will do just fine at home. Now, it is nothing new. The virus has been around for a very long time, but there is no vaccine as of yet, and hospitals are definitely dealing with capacity problems.
It's very scary.
Catherine Morgan's son, Grant, is just 2 months old.
Respiratory distress is very concerning. He has such little lungs and can't really breathe, has a lot of mucus buildup.
A few days ago, Grant got a fever of 101 and had a small divot in his chest.
In 4 hours, he was using his whole body to breathe.
Rushed here to Connecticut Children's.
It makes me tear up thinking about it.
Describing the intense scene inside.
Once we got in, there's gurneys on throughout the hallway with families just waiting for a room.
Confirmed by Dr. Ian Michaelo.
We have, every available bed being used.
In preliminary talks with the National Guard to set up a field hospital, Connecticut Children's has implemented a plan to make more beds available for kids who need the highest level of care.
We're asking for volunteers to help us. We are hiring additional people to work over, after hours.
First COVID, now RSV, stressing pediatrics to its limits at a time when many practitioners have already left.
This is an increased number of patients with a system that is really, was already having some cracks, and I think it's exposing some more of those cracks.
Dr. Mark Auerbach of Yale telling Fox 61 that nobody who needs critical care will be turned away.
We're really all hands on deck.
But a lack of pediatric ICU beds means patients are having to stay in the emergency room longer.
And the real concerning thing with this surge is the capacity in the intensive care unit and the emergency department, where the life-saving treatments are really time sensitive. And when we're beyond capacity, sometimes that could potentially lead to delays.
And doctors tell me that right now we really are at a critical time. If RSV cases continue to surge at the same time as flu and COVID, it could create what many people are calling a tridemic, in which case hospital capacity would need to expand. Right now, everybody's just taking a wait and see approach. As for baby Grant, well, there's some good news on that front. He and his family are likely going to be discharged very shortly here from Connecticut Children's. We're live in Hartford outside the hospital. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Sending our best wishes to baby Grant and his family. Scary stuff. So many parents, including myself, waiting and bracing for the winter to come because it's scary.
Just so much going on at one time. All right, I want to switch gears here, get to the weather watch. Kind of dreary past couple of days, but
very humid.
it's warm out there. What's going on here? Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Hi, Rach.
No, it has been very weird. We're going to see not only the rain and the clouds move out of here heading into the day tomorrow, but the humidity will go along with it. 70 degrees right now in Hartford, 65 for the New Haven area. And while some areas are seeing some sunshine right now, others are dealing with a sprinkle shower, areas of fog in southeastern Connecticut. And we might see a brief increase in clouds here in western Connecticut with a slight chance for a sprinkle. But I think most of the rest of the night is dry for a lot of us. Some fog along the shoreline for the New Haven area as well. Temperatures in the mid 60s to right around 70 degrees. And watch that humidity tumbling as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Low temperatures tonight going to be a lot more comfortable than they have been the last few nights and following mornings. And tomorrow, nothing but sunshine. I know, from start to finish, quite the concept. Less humid, bright but breezy with winds that could gust up to about 25 miles per hour, maybe even 30 as we head through the afternoon, and highs in the low to mid 60s. It turns cooler still heading into tomorrow night and Friday. We'll talk about the weekend forecast and ahead to Halloween coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, new at 6 o'clock, after no jackpot winners came forward for Monday's drawing, the next grand prize grew even larger. Fox 61's Carmen Chow joining us live at Stu Leonard's, where people there are hoping they have the single golden ticket. Carmen.
Well, Ben, that jackpot just went from $680 million to $700 million. And so far, they have sold over 400 tickets, and we expect that number to go up. Now, this is now the 8th largest U.S. jackpot in history and the 5th largest Powerball grand prize. The lump sum cash option, which is usually what winners select, stands at $335.7 million. Players must match all 5 numbers and the Powerball to win the jackpot. The current Powerball jackpot has been growing since early August, racking up 35 drawings without a big winner. Now, the odds of winning the grand prize are 1 to 292.2 million. But of course, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play. You should buy your ticket, test your luck, and tune in for tonight's drawing at 11 o'clock on the CW20. I'm live in Newington. Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.